Welcome back to another episode of awakentvee. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel. Since we are still in election week, the focus of today's episode is why do Christians vote differently and how do we think through this? Isn't it interesting that Christians in America read the same Bible, worship the same God, but yet when it comes to voting, they vote very differently? It almost makes you wonder if they are reading the same Bible or if they are worshipping the same God. The trend that we tend to see is that white evangelicals will vote for the Republican Party while black Protestants will vote for the Democratic Party, even though this historically wasn't always the case. So, why do Christians vote differently? The reason why Christians vote differently is because they prioritize social issues differently. So while most Christians would agree that abortion is wrong, I actually hope you agree that abortion is wrong rather than believe it's okay to give people a choice to murder a baby. So while they agree that abortion is wrong, some of them will still vote for politicians who still support abortion. Because while they view abortion as wrong, there are other social issues such as the disenfranchisement of the black community that they prioritize over abortion. And because they prioritize things differently, the voting results and the way they vote are different. So the question is there a way to think through on how to prioritize various issues? I'm now going to go to the realm of applied ethics and provide you with a framework to think through some of these issues. For starters, Christians believe that morals are objective or absolute, and that objective standard comes from God. Objective meaning that there's a fixed standard of morality that transcends everything regardless of what society or individuals may say. Under this branch of moral absolutes, there are three varieties, but for the sake of time, I'm going to cover two of them. The first one is called the unqualified absolutists. I'm going to call this group A. People in this group believe that something is always right or wrong regardless of the situation. The second group is called the hierarchical absolutists. I'm going to call this group B. People in this group believe that there is an objective moral law, but there is a hierarchy, and some moral laws are more important than others. So how does this pan out practically, especially when there are moral conflicts? For example, in the case of Rahab who lied to save a life, or people who were hiding Jews in their apartments and they lied to the Nazis. If you are in group A, you will say, no, I will not lie, because lying is always wrong and inexcusable. It is wrong, it is a sin, and we are forbidden to do things that are wrong. On the other hand, people in group B will say that Jesus taught that there were weightier matters of the law in Matthew 23. So, saving a life is more important than not lying. So yes, I will lie to save a life. They will view weightier matters of the law, saving a life, as being more important than lower matters of the law, that is lying. So how do these principles apply to voting? You first need to ask yourself, how do you apply your ethics? Do you apply your ethics like group A, the unqualified absolutists, or do you apply your ethics like group B, the hierarchical absolutists? Once you are clear on how you apply or view your ethics, then we can figure out if you are consistently living out your beliefs. If you view your ethics through the lens of group A, then you will say that I will never vote for a candidate that is pro-abortion and pro-homosexual marriage because it is sin and they view this as an endorsement of evil. And remember this, Christians have no business permitting things that God forbids. However, if you are in group B, you could decide to vote for a candidate that is pro-abortion, pro-homosexual marriage, a more sinful candidate, because you believe that there is a greater moral principle involved in making that decision. You would think that you are reducing evil and increasing good in society by voting for this candidate. If this is you, the hierarchical absolutist in group B, then you need to make the case on why you prioritize certain things over the other. For the record, I'm a hierarchical absolutist in group B. If I were to read scripture, in my opinion, the right to life versus the right to the quality of life is the weightier matter of the law, and it's a priority over all other things. So I'm willing to break certain rules to save a person's life. That is the exception. Now, I'm willing to change my mind, and I recognize there are good Christians out there who may disagree with my position, but that is completely fine. For the record, two Christians can disagree on important policy issues without one of them necessarily being unfaithful. It is also a mistake to think that Christians should always come to the same political conclusions. But most importantly, our political decisions should be informed by the timeless truth that God has revealed to us in Scripture. When it comes to political ideology, to be conservative or progressive at all times on every issue is not only to be intellectually lazy and easily manipulated, but it's also unfaithful. Side note to everyone, including my friends and the people that I love. If you vote for Donald Trump, I love you. If you vote for Joe Biden, I love you. If you don't vote at all, I love you. Politics is not going to get in the way of my relationship with you and how I love you and my feelings for you. So that's all for today's episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment for all the good stuff on Awaken TV. And remember, go vote.